first order of business in is public comments. Is there anyone in Mesquite that wants to make a comment?
No, not right now.
Okay, here?
Yes.
David Baldwin, I'm a citizen of Mesquite. Several months ago, I made a request that you consider looking at your budgets before and consider a 10% operational reduction in your budgets. That there was nothing ever moved forward on that. Now we have an agenda item today considering pay raises and organizational changes. And at this time, I again request that you postpone this and consider review of an operational reduction target of 10%. All of the other municipalities that service the Mesquite area, the city and the water board have both taken significant cuts, and this board has not made any significant cuts in your operations. Other than that, it's actually increased. The last time I said this, I heard about all the people that were retiring and all the savings we're going to have. That's not what I was talking about. I was talking about operational cuts. Also, that a few meetings ago, I made a request about open meeting law, and Mr. Mills, the attorney, said he was going to make a report. That report was provided to Dr. Moses, and he has tabled it and hasn't released it to the public on how the board is going to review open meeting law. I've been coming to these meetings since the fall of 2011, and Mr. Moses, or Dr. Moses, you've been the individual that's obstructed this open meeting law more than anybody else. In my first contact with you, when I was asking for a simple information on impact fees, you actually instructed the attorney to go to the Attorney General to see if you could close these meetings. I took that as an insult to me to shut up and sit down and don't talk anymore. So, Dr. Moses, I request that you release that information that the city attorney gave to you concerning open meeting laws and what parts you can comply with and can't comply with, that you referenced a couple meetings ago that the attorney noted that he gave to you, and that I would request that you release that for the public to see. Thank you.
He is asking me to pass these to the board.
Hi, my name's Rich Green. I think I addressed you in April, and I asked if you would kindly post your year-end 2012 statements on your website. They've been approved by your auditor, but they hadn't yet been posted. That was done. I thank you for that. I'm a CPA, and I had an opportunity to spend some time in studying those reports. I looked at your NRU CFC statistic report, and I've handed out to you a little, I think, a high-level summary that I made, and some comments I'd like to make. My study of the report tells me that it's been a very good thing to be an OPD employee over the past 3 years. Now, let me show you why I say this. The average OPD employee works hardly any overtime. The average OPD employee enjoys a lot of time off, a lot of vacation time and holiday time. The average OPD employee has received annual pay increases of about 6%, or 18%, totaling $11,650 over the last 3 years. The average OPD employee earned almost $76,000 in 2012, an increase of $5,000 from 2011, or 6.8. I believe CPI for 2012 was 1.6. You have the equivalent of 8 of your people, 15%, working full-time on construction, because you're capitalizing 15% of your payroll costs. I find that surprising, because I didn't think your level of construction in progress was that big. 2 points. If you capitalize payroll costs, you don't have to eat it in expense and therefore jeopardize your debt ratios. But also, what happens when CPI winds down? Do we have 8 extra employees? So maybe this good thing for the OPD employees hasn't been such a good thing for the OPD ratepayers. There's a greater restraint on your payroll costs by the management and you, the trustees, might have held these pay increases to what I consider more appropriate, 2 to 3% per year. And the savings for 2012 then would have been some $300,000 to $400,000 on base pay alone, some 440 to 600,000 when you add in the PERS payment and the generous health insurance plan that you have. I have several other points that come up in my study of your financial statements, but I'll be saving those for my attendance at meetings in the future. Thank you. I would like to have a dialogue. Keith, are you back there? Is Keith back in the other building?
You addressed it at the board.
Okay. I would like to have a dialogue at some opportunity. Keith is very encouraged ratepayers to have dialogues with the company. I would especially like to speak with Mr. Q and Mr. Waite at their convenience in Mesquite. Thank you.
My name is Barbara Ellisgard. I'm a resident of Mesquite, and I'm the editor-publisher of the Mesquite Citizen Journal. I just have a couple questions about the two agenda items for pay raises and promotions on the two employees. My first question is whether these promotions and pay raises are retroactive to July, and how many years before these employees retire. I think those are legitimate questions with the actions of this board in the past, specifically 3 years ago. In previous meetings, you've said with Mr. Latham's retirement, we were going to save all this money on personnel costs. $50,000 you said you were going to save upon his retirement just got eaten up with 3 employees. $50,000 a year on 3 employees. I hope all of you sleep well tonight.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move on.